In India, there are 30 million orphans. Out of that, only 5 lakh of them come into homes.
Why do you think adoption is the last choice rather than it being the first option?
हम सबको अपना खून चाहिए. And if you go to family court now and see maximum problems are between brothers and between brother sisters. कहाँ गया वो खून तुम्हारा तब?
You became India's first single man to become a parent through adoption. Can you actually take us through an actual adoption process?
We have CARA now. It's a government body which takes care of all the orphanages in the country.
Parenting का मतलब सिर्फ biological relation नहीं होता. आज हमारे साथ है the renowned celebrity choreographer संदीप सोपारकर, जिन्होंने 4 साल की legal struggle के बाद अपने पहले son को adopt किया and he became India's first single man to become a parent through adoption. कहाँ से आपने वो strength build की to fight this legal battle?
A single man cannot adopt a baby girl, which I was trying to fight. I fought for almost 3 years for it. But honestly speaking, I failed. Because I was told the reason was that sexual harassment.
Hello everyone, I am Zahra Jani and welcome to Zahra Jani Show. यहाँ बातें सिंपल है बट सोचने वाली. So grab your favorite snacks, चाय और कॉफ़ी and let's start the बातचीत. अगर पसंद आए तो spread the word. Like, share, subscribe. Hey Sandeep, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You have achieved a list of things. I actually tried to memorize these, but I cannot because the list is never ending. So I'm going to read it out. Sandeep, you were born in Bhopal and you did hotel management, but then you pivoted towards dance. In fact, you were the first Indian to be certified by Ballroom Dance Teachers Training School. And then you were the finalist for the Graviara Mr. India contest. Not only that, you were also among the top 21 most photogenic faces of the year in India. And your dance career took off when you choreographed for the movie Zubeda in 2001.
I think my most cherished work will always remain. It was Shyam Benegalji's iconic film Zubeda with Karishma Kapoor, Manoj Bajpayee and Rekha ji. I think for any choreographer to make a start like that, I think is absolutely brilliant. I knew nothing about film choreography. I only knew about stage choreography and, moving on dance floors. But Shyam sir taught me everything from camera angles to movements. Even Manoj Bajpayee sir and Karishma Kapoor helped me to understand how choreography is done. I think learning from all these icons was a dream come true for any choreographer. Shyamji is no more, but I think I will never forget what he has done for me. He even gifted me a lifetime membership for Choreographer Association, which is going on even today. So I think a good man will always remain in your heart.
And lastly, which is kind of the most special one, you became India's first single man to become a parent through adoption. And now adoption is such a beautiful thing. But the adoption journey is very, very difficult.
Yeah, it is. I think now it's a bit easier though. But yeah, it is difficult. It should be difficult.
Is it? Why do you say that?
I think when you want to have your own baby, don't you take time for it? You first think about getting married, then you take a couple of years to understand each other. Then you spend a couple of months to make a baby, and then 9 months to have a baby. So I think the whole process itself takes about 3-4 years. So why not for adoption as well? It's not thinking today I want a baby and going out to a shop and buying something, right? So you prepare mentally for it, then physically for it. So I think so should happen for adoption as well. So it should be a difficult process.
I guess that's so beautifully explained and so positively explained. Like, I love that attitude. I have some stats here. India has over 3,500 registered parents waiting to adopt, but only 2,400 children are legally free for adoption, and most of them have special needs. This is a ratio of 13:1. This gap is vast. Clearly, there are thousands of abandoned and orphan children, but still parents have to wait for so many years. Why does this gap exist?
So let me also tell you about some more statistics. In the whole world, there are 153 million orphans. Okay. In India, there are 30 million orphans. In India, we are the highest orphan country in the world. Okay, our country. 30 million orphans. Out of that, only 5 lakh of them come into homes. So imagine how many of them are on the streets. or just left without any care. 5 lakh reach homes. But from there, adoptions happen only about a couple of thousands. It was about 3,000, I think, in 2022, the last survey. Now it's even dropped even more. A lot of reason being special needs. Because let's talk about that part of it. Now in India, what happens is, when you say orphan, the person is looked at, or the woman is looked at in a negative manner. Bastard hai wo, illegitimate hai, okay, bina shadi ke bachcha ho gaya. So all those kind of taane jo milte hain to the woman, because of which, when she's even 9 months pregnant, she's trying to abort the baby. And nowadays, with modern technology, there are so many new things available to, consume, so the baby can be aborted. Earlier, there weren't so many. So the baby who is born has always some issue or the other.
Because they try to abort it.
They try to eat kind of strange medicines. So it affects the baby. And the baby is, most of them are either hearing disability, mental issues, something or the other is always there. So therefore, number of kids open for proper, like normal children and adoptions are much, much lesser. And there are very few parents who want to adopt a child with special needs. So who do we blame here? Do we blame the society system? That you say, wo bachcha na aurat thi isliye usko aisa hua? Like, who do you really blame? We have not accepted marriage without ceremonies, right? Or sex without ceremonies.
Yeah.
And then when you have babies like these producing out of that, they are looked down upon.
Yeah.
So who do you really blame here?
Yeah,
so why do we say for parents it is difficult? It is difficult for the children also. Imagine 30 million children, orphans, don't have homes. During COVID, almost 1.5 lakh kids got orphaned during COVID. It is, I think there are some statistics which we all need to understand. It's a poor country, especially in these scenario. Of course, we have development going on. Modi ji has done great work for our country. But at the same time, I think this sector, some has been neglected. We need to have a little more system in place. I'm happy that now there are agencies which are stepping in and helping us. I'm sure in our conversation we'll come to that.
Like you said, the society is also responsible for this. But let's talk about the Indian adoption system. What do you have to say about the Indian adoption system?
I think it's become better than before. We have CARA now, which is a wonderful organization and more streamlined now because it's gone online. I've been a part of this association since time I adopted my son in 2007. So it's been 21 years now. And I think earlier this online system was not there. So what happened is, you live in a city, the closest orphanage as an adoptive parent, you go there and say, "Mujhe bachcha god lena hai." And they say, "Okay, wait, car line mein naam lag denge." And then you are waiting. And if you're in a big city like Bombay, there are more kids. But if you go to a smaller city, a small town, a 3-tier city, or maybe a 4-tier city, there are lesser kids there. But there are parents there also, right? When I was touring to different orphanages, when I got associated with being brand cause ambassadors for adoptions in India, I realized that there was one orphanage which was very wealthy because it had international adoptions happening in big cities. And there were some orphanages which were extremely poor. In one room, there were 100 kids stuffed. So how do we connect all these kids in the country together? Why should one orphanage get more privilege compared to the other orphanages? That is when the online system started. And I'm so privileged that I was a part of that meeting and all those things that happened when the online system was going on. And today, all the kids who are coming in the homes, I'm talking about all the kids, be it regular kids, like normal children or special needs children, they all are connected through one online medium. That's easy because now you go as a parent to adopt. You have a waiting period, which can go from 1 year to 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. But when you get to your time, when the number comes, you can choose a baby. You will get a baby options from all over the country, which I think is great now for you because you don't have to be in Mumbai to get a Mumbai baby. You can even get a child from Jharkhand. You can get a baby from Odisha, from West Bengal. I think is absolutely fine.
That's amazing. I have a lot of questions. I want to simplify this. So can I ask you these questions one by one?
Sure.
Okay. You mentioned CARA, which is Central Adoption Resource Authority.
Right.
उसका रोल एग्जैक्टली क्या है अगर आप उसको डेप्थ में समझा सकते
So
हैं?
it's a government body which takes care of all the orphanages in the country. In terms of caregiving, in terms of adoptions, in terms of nutrition needs, whatever, legal papers, all of that is done by CARA. So it's a top body, and under that there are many orphanages, state-wise, city-wise, and all of them come under CARA.
And अगर आज किसी को adopt करना है, they can just go on CARA website
That's
online, or there are NGOs who help.
No, NGOs will help you, but they will still tell you to go to CARA website and apply from there, because that's the starting point. So I can go to an orphanage next to my house and ask them what I should do. They will tell you go to CARA website and apply from there. And after some time, somebody will come to do home study with you at your house. But all the procedures there on the CARA website. So if you go in there, you have to fill every detail is important. You can't skip a point.
Can you actually take us through an actual adoption process? If I am someone who wants to adopt, what are the first few steps?
So first is you need to, now that's an interesting question. First step is you need to prepare yourself and your family mentally and physically to be thinking of having a baby which is not born out of you. Which I think is the biggest problem in our country.
Yeah.
हम सबको अपना खून चाहिए. We'll try for years and years and years, and we'll go to different temples, we'll do मन्नत मांगेंगे, व्रत रखेंगे, पूजा पाठ करेंगे, हवन कीर्तन करेंगे. हमें अपना बच्चा चाहिए, अपना खून चाहिए. उसके बाद में वो नहीं होता है तो IVF ट्राई करेंगे. The woman will take 1,000 injections every few months and she'll become from this to this. Hormonal levels will change because हमें अपना खुद का खून चाहिए. Then हम लोग अपने वो नहीं हुआ खत्म. Then we will say, okay, let me try to ask babies through surrogacy.
Yes.
So we are running that way. Okay, and looking for hiring wombs to have your own baby. At least one will be mine, you know. Like at least the woman's egg or the man's egg will be yours. So you are trying to have your own blood. Then the fourth option comes is, let me take my brother's baby. Okay. Yeah, my sister's child. They're having two. Let's ask them to produce third one and we'll take them. So there is so many things happening that adoption becomes a last position for you to reach.
Why do you think adoption is the last choice rather than it being the first option?
Because we feel, that's what I was saying, we feel that hamara khoon hamara hota hai. And if you go to family court now and see, maximum problems are between brothers and between brother sisters and husband wives. Kahan gaya wo khoon tumhara tab? Why do we sometimes say that our best friend is, or muh bola bhai bolte na, muh boli behan bolte hain, they are not blood relations, but sometimes they are closer to you than your own brothers sisters. But still we want our own blood. Still parents want, mera kuch jhalak honi chahiye bacche ke andar. The physical jhalak is not only jhalak, right?
Absolutely.
I think more important is they should have your attributes. That's most important. But I think that is completely missed out in our country. This old thought process is still running. And if a woman doesn't bear a child, she's looked down upon.
Yeah.
वो तो बांझ है, उसको तो होता नहीं बेबी, लड़का तो ठीक होगा. No, nobody wants to test the man.
Yeah.
They will test the woman. So these are certain stigmas which are very, very old-fashioned in our country and which I think need to change. If they change, then the adoption process will become better.
Like you mentioned, people go for IVF and लोग इतना casually IVF बोल देते हैं, but you know, taking those hormonal injections, it's
not
so
easy. I've had
tough.
friends who've done it, and it's not
It's
simple.
so tough for the women. It's mentally challenging. It's financially draining.
Absolutely.
आपको लगता है कि अगर Indian adoption system थोड़ा और transparent और easy होता, adoption would be the first choice and not IVF?
No, ma'am. An adoption system is very simple.
Yeah.
You just go and apply for it. You have to be the right age and you have to have the right connection between the two of you. And it is very simple. It's just a question of an hour, year and a half to wait. I think that's not long.
Yeah.
I knew during IVF waiting for 2 years, right?
Even in normal pregnancy, 9
also
months
you do that,
तो हो ही
right?
जाता
So
है.
what is wrong in waiting for 2 years? Why do we think कि मैंने आज सोचा बच्चा लेना है तो मुझे कल बच्चा घर में होना चाहिए? In fact, that kind of mentality will never have a strong relationship because you have to build your mind. When the baby is coming home, when you realize you're pregnant, you have 2 babies.
Yeah.
the whole home prepares for 9 months. Somebody's going to come home, somebody's going to come home, somebody's going to, you prepare your room, you prepare yourself, you prepare things, you prepare your friends, your relatives. I think that's the beauty of when the baby comes, you enjoy that.
Yeah.
If it suddenly drops into your home today, you will not enjoy it.
Yeah.
That wait is what's important. When you see your numbers going up from 200 to 1000, slowly is going up and is reaching now 4, 5, 2, 1. That's what is the excitement. Like you say, delivery kal hai, parso hai. That kind of excitement which is there, I think that is important for you to feel that I'm doing something really beautiful. How will you feel otherwise? Because physically you're not going through any changes. And how else would you feel it when you see your numbers going closer? And I might now going to see a baby. Will I receive a call today? It's number 1 on the list. Aaj phone aayega? Nahi aaya. Kal phone aayega? It's like you are in the maternity ward and say, abhi kab shuru ho gaya? Mere ko labor pains. You know? So it's like that. And I think that's the most beautiful part of adoption. And when you go and see a baby, it's like looking at the newborn.
Wow. That's a beautiful and the correct comparison कि जब आप अपने बच्चे के लिए भी इतना रुकते हैं for a normal delivery, adoption is the same thing. You're becoming a parent. You have to sort of be prepared.
I don't think, ma'am, it's a difficult process. I think it's absolutely simple. Go on the website. If you're interested to adopt a baby, just go on the website. Fill up the CARA form and
you are actually taking us through an actual adoption process.
Yeah, because I have gone through it twice.
Can you explain us step by step?
So the first is to fill up this form. This form has started now. Though when I adopted my son Arjun, that form was not there. But now it is, like I said, easy. Go on the website, click on the wanting to adopt, and fill in all your details. It's attached. A lot of documents are there to be attached. Put all of it together, and it might take you a few days, but well, it's like getting married, and fill up all of that and then wait.
Yeah.
And the wait is 1 to 2 years, which I think is absolutely fine. And then you will one day get a call and you will be the most excited that we need to show you a baby. But before that, you will have a home study.
What is that?
The home study is when a social worker will come to your home and will not just once, a few times. And they will meet you, your relatives, they'll chat with you, see your place, ask you for some documentations to verify things, what jobs you do, what kind of relations you both have together, if you have in-laws, relatives, whatever, other siblings, if there are any. So basically your entire life is on paper.
Yeah.
And that is submitted to CARA. That whatever the information has been put in is correct, and this couple is worth being given a child. Now, there are many times the husband and wife are not compatible enough, which we don't realize, or we realize it, but we don't want to accept it. But a third party who comes in, who's a specialist in understanding relationships, realizes that you both need to still work on yourself before you get somebody into your house. It's like parents saying, bacha karo, bacha karo, bacha karo, and you have a baby and then you say, oh, now I want divorce, and now you're fighting where the baby will go, right? So you need to first both be on the same page as a husband-wife to be a mummy papa.
Fair enough.
So you will not believe there are so many rejections happen for parents because they are in such a great hurry to adopt. हम बुड्ढे हो रहे हैं, 10 साल से इंतजार कर रहे हैं, 12 साल से ट्राई कर रहे हैं, बेबी नहीं हुआ, तो हम अभी adopt कर रहे हैं. Now I'm 35, I'm 38, I'm 40, I want to adopt. So you are running from your point of view. But think from the baby's point of view.
Yeah.
Being a part of adoptions in India, I think I'm thinking from the baby's point of view.
Absolutely. And that should be the
Why should I send my child into a home which is not stable? Where there are fights, or maybe the mother-in-law doesn't want a adoptive baby, still wants that she should produce on her own, the bahu should produce. And there is no, everybody's not on the same page. Why should a baby go there? Because the baby will be ill-treated. Absolutely. I will not take names, but I will give you an example. I think it was 2015. A very big business family in India adopted a boy child. And the boy came home, and I think a week's time, they realized that the wife was pregnant. And they came back saying that, take the child back.
Oh my God.
Now, what was that? So you take the baby with you and you keep the baby with you for adopt a baby legally on paper. 3-4 months the child is with you, and then you're saying abhi nahi chahiye.
What
but I
about
want
the
to return my
child?
product back to you. So what happens to the child? So as a orphanage, as a support of adoptions in country, I think it's very important for the child to understand, or for us to understand where the child is going. The mother-in-law was made to understand, the queen of the empire, that this child is legally adopted.
Yeah.
We will take the child back, but the child still remains legally adopted. And when the child turns 18, he, being the older child, will be, as per joint Hindu family business that they were running, will inherit entire property.
Wow. And then what happened then finally?
Then I think the gentleman and the wife who adopted the child, they spoke with the mother-in-law and settled everything down. And I guess things
I hope
became
things
okay.
are
And
good with the child.
Yeah, the child is still with them. And I think I met him once, twice. And I think he's beautifully brought up.
Wow.
But this is what I'm talking about when it comes to mentally being ready. Everybody in the house, हर इंसान घर का, चाहे आपके घर का स्टाफ भी क्यों ना हो,
Absolutely.
they all have to be prepared कि घर में हमारे कोई आने वाला है, or not for few days, for the whole life. This is something which has to be prepared. So first step we were talking about was preparing yourself and your family.
Got it.
Then I would suggest you should then go and apply for it.
Yeah.
If husband and wife are not on the same page, don't even think of applying, because when the social worker comes tomorrow to your house, you will be caught. And once it is cleared, once you've applied, whatever, and social worker comes and has done a home study, get a clean chit for it, a couple of months down the line, you will get a call which will say that come and sending you an email with a couple of options, actually one option, and have a look at this child as per what you had said that you wanted. And you will see a picture. And if you think the baby is, and every baby is beautiful, you would want to see the child. So you go wherever the orphanage is and you go and get the baby home in a few days. So then the procedure is like really quick. It's like abhi labor pain hua, baby aa gaya, you know?
Ho gaya. It's that
so
way.
it's that quick. And I think it's a beautiful process. You need to have patience for it.
On that note, I'm going to take you back in time, which is between 2003 to 2007, when you decided that you want to go in for adoption. Tell us everything about that.
So it was much before that. When I was in school, we had adoption in our house. My Masi adopted a baby girl. She's my favorite cousin sister. And a couple of them have also adopted. And I saw the entire process. We were going to the orphanage, meeting her every other day and spending some time with her. She was hardly a year and a half old that time. I think that was such a beautiful memory. I still remember it so clearly. That's when I told my mom, when I get older, I want to adopt. So she said, sure, anytime. And we will be with you, because in our house, we've seen these cases. And when I thought I was ready, emotionally, physically, financially, I asked my parents at the time when I want to do it. They were saying, go ahead.
Wow.
And I went looking for orphanages who would support me. And to my surprise, there were not too many. Because all of them said, शादी करके आना.
जब किसी ने बोला शादी करके आओ फिर बच्चा adopt करना, how did you gather that strength to fight this legal hurdle?
Which is strange, because you don't need to be married to have babies, right?
Absolutely not.
Like orphan is the best example of it. So why in India we say बच्चा शादी के बाद ही होना चाहिए, and only that is supposed to be the best baby. So many of them rejected and said to me that शादी के बाद आना, और शादी के बाद भी 5 साल के बाद आना, because it's not immediately after शादी. Like the time period of waiting for a couple is 5 years. So I was not ready for it. I was like, no, this is not what I'm looking for. And शादी कब करेंगे? That's a different process altogether, a different mindset. Now you don't have to have a wife to have a baby. So finally, I was lucky enough to find Bal Anand, who is this orphanage in Chembur, and they supported me. And they said, कभी किया नहीं है single man adoption, but हम try कर सकते हैं आपके लिए.
Wow.
So they took in my application. That time online was not the option. It was one-on-one orphanage to the parent. And they took my application in, waited for a long time. I had asked for a baby girl that time. So we were having a lot of court cases going on. that a single man cannot adopt a baby girl, which I was trying to fight. I fought for almost 3 years for it.
Okay.
But honestly speaking, I failed because I was told the reason was that sexual harassment can be a big criteria. And I still remember I was at the court and this case had become really big news. It was coming in all the newspapers and TV channels would stand outside wanting to cover what's happening. And I remember asking this question to the judge and all the people sitting there, especially men who were sitting there, who were their first sexual encounters. And a lot of the men standing there said it was an older auntie, a neighboring someone, or a didi, or the housemaid. There were all those kind of answers coming. So where do you say that only a man with assault or have sexual issues with a young girl? Why not the other way around? So if a young girl can be given, a single girl can be given a boy child, why can't a single man be given a girl child?
And what was the judge's reaction on that?
Well, I think in this sector, a lot of them sitting are a little orthodox thinking, and they felt, no, a woman cannot do anything to the boy child, but a man definitely can do to a girl child. So I lost that case. I remember my social worker, Madhviji, telling me that if you have your own baby, you would not know if it would be a girl or a boy. So why are you harping about a girl child? So we had changed our application from girl child to a boy child, but still it didn't do very well because Bollywood, being in the film industry, is not supposed to be the best thing for a child. And in those days, I had broken up with one of my girlfriends and I was dating somebody new, and there was this big news in the newspaper about breakup hua, and now again somebody else is in his life and all of that. So the judge said, "Ye sikhaoge bacche ko?"
तो आपने क्या बोला?
So I just said, look, I'm young, I'm still exploring, right, who I should be with. And just because I'm in public eye and my affair is in the newspaper, you think I have many affairs. But there are so many more here, I'm sure sitting here also, who are having affairs, but are not talking about it and their life is not being written about. So you can't really judge a person just because they're having affairs. And you will see a few before you decide to get married to someone, right? At least in the modern society, you want to do that. Big cities, you want to do that. But like I said, not too many are thinking the same way, especially sitting on those chairs. We're still fighting almost a year more. And Bollywood helped me because I was at a show, and I want to thank Renuka Chaudhary ma'am, who was then the child welfare minister. And she had come to light the inaugural lamp, and I was doing my first dance after that. And we met, and she said, "Your case is going on." And I remember hearing it and seeing a couple of news that's coming out. So I said, "But ma'am, it's not gone in my favor as yet." So that was so sweet. She said, "No, but I think it will soon because we are realizing that you are for it. And though nobody has done it before, I think it will be a milestone even in our child welfare ministry that a single man is wanting to adopt. And wait for some time, have some more patience. 4 saal ho gaye. This has maybe a few more weeks, few more months." And I think a couple of days after that, the judge passed in my favor. And it was strange because I didn't know that it had got cleared. And I got a call from Madhvi ma'am saying that, "I want to show you a baby." And I was like, "Ma'am, I don't think I'm ready." So she said, "4 saal tune kya kiya?" So come on, just come over right now. I was like, "No, I don't think I'm ready to come and see a baby." She said, "Just leave what your rehearsal and come, Sandip." It was at 1 hour drive from my house in Juhu to Chembur. Was those emotions I can't explain because I was rushing, but I was nervous. Who am I going to meet and what's going to be? And she said, "Come on, sit here." And she said, "I'm going to send somebody in and you see how you relate." And the door opened. A little boy with a car in his hand comes in front of me and just offers me the car. And he offered me his heart.
Wow.
And I think that was it. And I said, there's no thinking.
That's your first son,
That
Arjun.
is my son, Arjun. And there's no thinking at all. When just the way he gave me the car, that was it. Because, in the orphanages, what happens today, I can say that when you have a toy, as a child, you're not sure whether it'll come back to you or not. Because there's so many of them playing with it, right? So if I leave it today, it might not come back to me in the same way I left it. So if a child is giving that to me, imagine how much of trust the baby must be having that, this person will take care of my little toy. I think those were such beautiful memories that I will never forget them.
Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. I can just visualize that scene.
It was such a feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but I was not ready, like I said. And I think when it happened, it just touched me so much that it's been 21 years now. And it's just,
I guess one is never ready to be a parent. We learn on the go. So
yeah, absolutely. Every day is a new day and you don't know what the child is going to be. But like I said, it's not your reflection in the child, your bodily reflection that matters. Today, when my friends tell me, oh, his habits are like yours, oh, his thing is like yours, he sleeps like you, he lies down like you. I think that's what a child should be.
He's yours.
They must adopt your mannerisms, your lifestyle, and the way you are, the way you think. I think संस्कार जो बोलते हैं हम लोग, संस्कार आपने क्या दिए अपने बच्चों को, वो मायने रखते हैं.
Clearly, parenting is not biological. It is love. It's beyond biology. Yeah. And then in 2021, you adopted your second son, Kabir, who is hearing and speech impaired. What about Kabir struck you that he's the one?
So he's also from Balanand, and I would always take Arjun to Balanand just to, those special days when he came home or his birthday, we would always go and spend some time there. So I was always meeting Kabir. He was in Balanand for almost 5 years, and every time we would go, we would meet him. I, in fact, even tried to get, that time he was much younger, I tried to get his cochlear implant done, and I tried to get some support from my friends who would, donate so that he could get his operation and all organized for it. But it didn't really happen. So I was meeting him all the time. And then I got him home on foster care to begin with. And just to see how, things can be. And I wanted to take care of him and not really adopt as legal papers, but on foster care ways. But foster care looking after is difficult because a lot more rules to it compared to an adoption rules. So I thought it was getting a bit tedious for me, and I said, let me just convert it from foster care to adoption. And I did that. And I'm glad I did it because things have become much easier now for me to be with him. The deaf world is not a different world, but it's a new world for us. It's like going to a country which doesn't speak your language. So that doesn't mean that country is not right. It just means that I am not ready to be in that country. So, I learned part of sign language. And
I was just going to ask you, aapne pehle bola that you and the family should be prepared before adoption. And this was sort of a special needs adoption. So, aapne aur aapki family ne kaise prepare kiya for Kabir?
You will not believe what happened. 2008, I was taking class of Manisha Koirala. And she put me on to their Prime Minister's wife, Mrs. Zahra, who runs a NGO for deaf and mute. And she called me saying that, can you please come and prepare a show for us? That time the show, 3 months contract it was. And the show was called Welcome to the World of Silence. There were almost 80 deaf and mute children who were dancing for it. We went there, lived in Nepal for 3 months and prepared them for the entire show. Before I went there, I was told by Mrs. Giri that you must come prepared a bit of sign language so that you can interact with the children, though we'll have interpreter to do the job for you. But when you can speak something, they can relate to you better. So my sister and me went to Bandra and we did a course in sign language. And we went there, of course, lived there for 3 months, enjoyed ourselves with them, prepared the show, cut to Kabir coming into my life.
Wow.
So sometimes, you wonder, does the universe prepares you
Absolutely.
to reach to a certain point? Maybe I went to Manisha's class. Maybe I went to Mrs. Giri's association because Kabir was supposed to come into my life. After that time, I didn't meet Mrs. Giri at all. But is it the preparation the universe makes you ready to meet somebody maybe a few years down the line? They say life comes in circles. You do not really know. So when I think back about it, I thought maybe he was going to come into my life. So I was prepared beforehand so that when I meet him for the first time, I can chat with him. I would chat with you.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to prepare much, but I think in my home, everybody had to. My parents had to. My son had to. And my staff had to, all my other cousins had to, my brother and my brother's wife had to, because they were not very sure how to speak in sign language. So they were learning A, B, C, D. They were trying to do all of that.
So everyone was taking
everyone was
classes.
taking classes from me. And when he came, it was even better because he was faster than any of us.
Yeah.
So I think it just fell into place.
Absolutely. Sandip, we spoke about the waiting period in a normal adoption case. आपने बोला waiting period 2 साल हो सकता है, 4 साल हो सकता है. But when it comes to special needs adoption, there is no waiting period.
Yeah, it's fatafat.
Why is that?
Because they need support. And in orphanages, we don't have that much support to support people with special needs. So especially if it is an autism or physical issues, it's very tough. So we want them to get into homes which will take care of them. So if you're looking for a special need, maybe it's a quick process.
And people or individuals or couples, are they getting inclined towards adopting special needs?
Not too many. It's a tough decision to make. But if you have your own baby who's got some issues, who has special needs, then you will bend backwards to take care of the child.
And adoption ke waqt, can we get information like about the child's parents or the place of birth or caste, etc.?
I think caste is not important at all. Because you follow religion, what you're taught, not because you're born. So today, if I'm a Hindu, it's because I've been told this is what is required to be done in Hinduism, not because I was born a Hindu. So if you if you're moved to a Christianity, you will start doing that.
Yeah.
Or you will start doing prayers if you're, or going to any different religion. So religion doesn't matter, should not matter in terms of adoptions. And when it comes to parents, sometimes you do have the information. Sometimes the orphanage also does not have the information. So kya denge jab kuch pata nahi hai to? Either the kids have been thrown in dustbins, or they have been left on the streets, or they have been lost and found. To kahan se parents pata chalega? There are very few parents where the mother comes and gives up the child. And when she comes and gives up the child is not open for adoption.
Okay.
Because you will not believe there are many women who get married and come back and adopt the same baby by saying मैं adoption कर रही हूँ. So there are this underlying currents where the husband does not know that my wife had a baby before he got married to this woman, and she comes back to the same orphanage and says, मुझे मेरा बच्चा वापस कर दीजिए. So that child is not open for adoption if that child has been given up by the mother. So most cases, we don't know who the parents are. तो नहीं पता तो हम क्या बताएंगे?
But the child is not open for adoption for some particular years?
Yeah, for about 3-4 years till the time we know that the woman is around and she's here and she's...
Oh, okay. And जब हम application डाल रहे हैं adoption के लिए, are we allowed to make preferences like again gender, religion, caste, etc.?
Religion is, we don't know the religion.
Okay. Why am
like a child is on a dustbin, क्या religion उसका? Dustbin religion है उसका. वहां से निकला है, वहां मिला है, तो क्या religion पता चलेगा उसका ना? So we don't even know the religion to tell you क्या religion है उसका. So, but yes, you can say I want a male child or a girl child. I want twins. I want siblings. You can say all of that if you want. And you can talk about age. I want from so and so age to so and so age. But there also is a big problem because most parents, which is really strange, they will go to another city, live in some other place, adopt a baby, and bring the baby back to your city by saying, मेरा खुद का baby हो गया.
Oh.
So, ताकि लोग
question नहीं
point fingers at you कि बच्चा नहीं हो पाया इनको ना. So they झूठ बोलते हैं ऐसा. फिर बच्चे छुपाते हैं. Because they don't tell the child that you're adopted because you're trying to tell people it's your own baby. So that is also strange. So most of them want छोटा बच्चा. कि 6 महीने से कम उम्र का हो जाए, 2-3 महीने का मिले तो अच्छी बात है. That's the age group. But then what happens? The problem today that we are facing in orphanages, I can speak about it because I have been seeing this happening, is when the baby turns 2-3, then you realize child has a problem.
Okay.
Like mental issues, breathing issues, or maybe can't speak, can't hear, because that's the time when they start talking, right? It's not responding to you. When the baby is small, he's सो रहा है. उठाने की कोशिश की, नहीं सुना तो सो रहा है. But they don't realize maybe he's not able to hear. Right? So these small issues we realize with the baby when the baby is growing up. Then they say, nahi chahiye, वापस ले लो.
After 2-3 years also, there have been cases where they come
back and say, we don't want. Return the product back. Amazon type. No, I वापस नीचे दे दे वापस. So that's why we are recommending people now, don't adopt small babies. But many people don't want. 3 साल 4 साल बहुत बड़ा है. हम bond कैसे करेंगे? Bonding happens because you spend time. Bonding happens because you feed the child, you cook for the child, you sit with them, play with them. That's the bonding. Right? Or you teach them toilet training hoti hai. That's how you bond with the baby. You don't bond with them because they are godi roaming around when they are few months old. But they want that whole pleasure of bacha means that god mein khilana, doodh pilana, that's the pleasure, right? But if it's going to come with little problems later, it's better to have a baby who's, you are sure that you want a normal child. You don't have a problem later as a parent. And you take a responsibility carefully. Then recommend you to take a baby who's, for sure is fine.
Now that we're talking about society, how does society react towards adoptive kids and parents? What has your experience been with society?
Well, living in Bombay has been absolutely fine. I have not faced any issues, and I'm glad to say even Arjun has not faced, even Kabir has not faced. But yes, I have seen cases where parents have not informed the child that the child is adopted, and they come to know when they're 18, 19, 20, and for them it's a big shock because their birth certificate is not a hospital certificate. It's a court certificate. So tomorrow when you're going to college and you're applying for your universities, you have to have a birth certificate in place. And when you get to see it yourself and you realize it is adopted, you are in a state of shock. You do not know what's happening to you. And there are people then saying, I want to go looking for my parents. These are not my parents, and the behaviors change. Plus they're 18, 19, 20, which are anyway having a problematic age. So that whole concept of life changes for you. And by the time you settle down, it is very, very difficult. I must give you this example. I had just adopted Arjun, and a very famous journalist, I would not name her, works for a very big publication, came to interview me for adoption. And while talking, she said, I'm also an adoptive child. So I said, oh, that's amazing. So where are your parents? No, I have left my home because I am looking for my parents. I lost my head.
Yeah.
I told her, you know what? Please leave. I don't want to give an interview into your paper because instead of being grateful to your parents who brought you up to this level that you're sitting and talking to stars today, and you're running a publication, you're heading a publication, brought you up in such great way, good education they have given you, you have left them and you're looking for your parents. I will tell you who your mother is. Probably she was a prostitute who delivered you. Probably she was someone who had an affair with a man who left her and she dumped you in a garbage bin. Or she left you at the railway station. That's where the kids are found.
What was her reaction?
She cried and she cried and she cried. I said, please leave my home.
But then did
she
go back?
And she went back home. And her mother called me up crying. She said, Sandip sir, aapne kya bola? I said, ma'am, maine jab usko bola, maine bola, abhi aap enjoy her, we come back home.
Wow.
Till today, I meet that woman at different parties and events where she's still a journalist. And she always comes and hugs me. I think it's one needs to understand that you must tell your child. The problem is we don't tell the child. She was not told that she was adopted.
Yeah.
So when she got to know, she was shocked. So we always tell parents when we have these seminars for adoptive parents, we always tell them, please tell your child is adopted.
So both your kids know that they are adopted.
Absolutely.
Arjun was adopted when he was 1.5.
Yeah,
so आपने Arjun को कैसे बताया, कब बताया?
So from the very beginning, there was no question of batana because there was no woman, there was no mummy. He came home when I was single. I got married when he was with me, and I got divorced also when he was with me. So he has seen the journey of me being single. A single man cannot just have a baby. So he knows he's adopted, and he's seen his papers. He has gone to the orphanage where he's coming from. So he from the very beginning knows that that was his first home, and this is his second home, and the second home has now become the first home. And we have his homecoming parties, that is his birthday of homecoming, and we have his birthday party. So he has 2 birthday parties, and even today he has 2 birthday parties. So I think it's something that you feel happy about, that I'm the only one who has 2 birthdays. Everybody has one. So you realize that this is what life is about, and you need to grow in that way.
And Kabir was adopted when he was 9 years. So
He was,
know.
7 years.
7 years. So he also, I'm sure, at that age knew everything.
Absolutely. He chose to be with me.
Yeah.
We asked him, would you want to come and stay in my house? He said, yes. Would you want to come and stay with Arjun Bhaiya? He said, yes. And he came home. Like I said, he came on foster care. So he came home to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And when we said now, for certain holidays, you have to go back home. No, I don't want to go back. This is my house. So
he chose you.
He chose to be with us.
Where is Indian adoption system with respect to couples of the same sex adopting a child?
Not open at all.
No?
Not
is it in the pipeline? Is there a future to this?
Well, first उनका खुद का LGBT कार्ड पहले ठीक हो जाए, फिर backing adoption क्या होता है? Like they themselves are, the cases going on here, the cases going there, legal, not legal, marriages not legal, becoming legal, getting not legal. Like they themselves are still stuck in their own identity right now, which I think is they need to get it sorted immediately in our country. Then the next step will be शादी करेंगे तो बाद में बच्चा कहाँ से आएगा? That kind of a thing.
But अभी तक adoption request आए हैं.
अभी तक शादी legal नहीं किया है.
तो अभी तक उधर तक adoption तक पहुँचे ही नहीं है.
बहुत दूर है. But a single person wanting to adopt is possible.
Got it.
Now, so man, woman, they can adopt if they want. LGBT or not LGBT doesn't matter.
Got it.
So single person who says, I'm single and I'm looking for a baby and I think I can take care emotionally, physically, financially, most very important as well. Go ahead and apply.
And what about NRIs? Are they allowed to adopt in India कि उन लोगों के लिए एक पूरा different procedure होता है?
तो उनका तो बहुत अलग procedure होता है because there have been so many cases of child trafficking that the first preference is given to married couples in our country. First preference, married couples. Then comes to single people. Then comes to outside India, Indians outside of India.
Achha.
Then comes to foreigners. So it's like, so if one child is sitting here, there are 4 people standing for that child. And it's up to us up to the social worker and the CARA to decide who we want to give it to.
Okay. So they are much down on the list for the
NRIs
reason of
definitely are.
Human trafficking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know every country rules are different. We know our rules in our country.
Yeah.
But if tomorrow I'm sending a child to Europe or to some other country, they have their rules. So I will do a home study for them, but I'm not too sure how really they're going to be there.
Correct.
Because the home study happens in India. And one home study happens in their country. There are so many of them who have 2 different lives.
Yeah.
In India, they're living differently and there they live differently. So, and if a child goes to them and is having some problem, we can't fight with them because anyway our system is not so strong. So it becomes very difficult. So first preference is child remains around our zones of taking care of them.
आपकी legal adoption fight या hurdle 4 साल तक थी. What was the most toughest moment?
The most toughest moment I think was to convince orphanages that I'm ready for adoption. Because none of them believe that a single man can adopt. Till today, they have this feeling that a woman can do it, but man can't do it. Man is a provider and a woman is a nurturer. That's the concept. And it can't be the other way around. Woman cannot be a provider and a man cannot be a nurturer. So to break that is very difficult. Till today, when I meet people who are single and wanting to adopt, they say the same thing. हमारा orphan support नहीं कर रहा है. हमें बोलते हैं कि शादी करके आ जाना.
But even after your case, single men are having that
They are
struggle.
still adopting. It's not that not adopting. They are, but they have been scrutinized like with the magnifying glass, which is good.
Yeah.
Because you never know what happens. You can't change your mind once you do it.
Yeah.
So you have to come under the scanner. And I think it's good to be under the scanner. But let the scanner prove that you have the capabilities of doing everything. If a woman can do everything, why can't a man?
Fair enough. Sandip, let's end this podcast on a very emotional and personal note. What would you like to tell people who say parents love differently when they have a child of their own versus when they adopt one?
Firstly, I don't think I'm able to give advice. But like I said, go to the family court, you'll come to know.
Yeah.
People fighting, blood fighting with blood. children dragging their parents to the court, your blood relations fighting with each other, you get the answer. So many cases, so many cases. Tell me one case of an adoptive child going and saying कि मेरे माँ बाप को मैं जायदाद के लड़ूंगा. So you have the answer that I think it doesn't matter. Your sanskar giving is most important. It's not about mera khun. It's about what you teach the child and how the child learns your lifestyle, your ways, maybe your religion, maybe your dohas or shlokas, whatever you want to recite. And that humanity which is there in the child coming from you, I think that matters the most. And when somebody says they resemble your mannerisms, I think that's what is the real win.
Absolutely.
And not because ki aankhein tumhare jaisi hain, tumhara naak tumhare jaisa hai, tumhara smile tumhare jaisi.
Beautiful, beautiful. This has been such an inspiring conversation. And it's so glad to hear that the Indian adoption system is actually improving. Improvement abhi humko leke aana hai, society ko leke aana hai. And not blame the system, because I guess the system is doing their part. Of course, baby steps towards improvisation. And hopefully next time when we meet, we can talk about the positive changes which has happened in the society.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sandip, for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.